Welcome to this episode of the Ballin' Out Podcast. I'm your host, Jordan, here with my co-host, Billy. We're going to talk a little bit about that upcoming game in Neyland Saturday night, man, against Kentucky Wildcats, 7:45. You ready to hit the road running with it?
I'm ready, man. Let's get it done.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll dive into it here just a little bit. Series history, Vols own it. I mean, there's no other way to put it. 84-26 all time. Currently on a 3-game win streak, 44-11 in Neyland. Since Kentucky has joined the SEC, though, 72-15 in favor of the Vols in conference play.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Man, you and I'll be worm bait before this series is even close, if ever. Ever. Like, no, it's not going to be. Vols have won 8 out of the last 10. Dark, and just so everybody knows right off the rip here, it is a dark mode game. Last time Kentucky came to Neyland, it got ugly and got ugly quick. 44-6. Dark mode. I'm gonna do it too, but I don't have the dark. I got the dark mode hat.
Oh man, I put on my dark mode today, man, and I met some of my ex-teammates at a restaurant today, and so I duplicated the commercial that they put out with them, you know, like the Venom, like coming into it and turning their uniforms black, and then he kind of put his fist on the ground like Superman. And it was like, I did that today with my dark mode shirt. It's like,
dude, that's pretty cool. I'll tell you what, dude, our Tennessee social media pages with stuff like that, they stay undefeated, dude. That was the sickest video I've seen in a hot minute. Come out of that, out of the social media department. That was impressive.
That was hot. That was hot, man.
Yes, hotter than fish grease, as they say. Buddy, so let's talk a little bit about Kentucky's season so far. They come into this one 3-5, 1-5 in the conference. Lost 3 straight since beating Ole Miss. So what does that tell you about Ole Miss? I don't think that I think you and I have kind of touched on it. You especially. Ole Miss just ain't that good. You know, that's just what it is. Ranks 124th out of 134 FBS schools passing the ball. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to have to worry about them throwing it all over the yard on us. 101st in scoring offense. They have failed to score more than 20 points in conference play this season.
Well, stats are on our side then.
Yes. One thing I do kind of want to touch on with this one, because it kind of adds to it, makes it more of a thing than what the game itself probably will really be. Gerald Mincey, dude has had so much to say since he's moved up there and transferred from here. It's like, why, man? Why? What's the point?
I think he's just trying to be relevant. He's an old lineman, so he never get talked about. So him doing that, and that's crazy because, you know, most of the time your coaches typically tell you don't give the other team any bulletin board material. And for him to say that, it almost, I think he's saying that just because he played here, and he's just talking just to talk because he got his hands full this weekend. And I thought he was hurt, to be honest with you. So, like, it's crazy that he's boys in that place.
I don't know. Yeah, he might be hurt and be like, you know what, you're going to be the one that's out there, not me. So you do it. You know, this is like the last thing he said, though, man. He's like, Kentucky has got to do more to earn it. I'm glad. I love the underdog role. So when we go there on November 2nd to Neyland and we bust them in the mouth, we can put the standard back over here. Like, the standard was never over there, first of all. At least not in football. Like, no. Exactly. Kentucky football, no. I'm sorry, no. Not now, not then, not ever. Like, a win was the standard there. You know what I'm saying? If you're Vanderbilt, that might be the standard. I don't know, but not no. Then, you know, you remember last year we went up there. I guess I kind of liken this game to Florida for Tennessee. Like, we've had the better team so many years, and we've found a way to lose to Florida. It don't matter how good Kentucky is. We always find a way to beat them. It does not matter. Like, their best team in 25 years could trot into Neyland Stadium Saturday evening and still walk out getting shellacked.
Well,
You know,
I hope we don't underestimate these guys, man, because I mean, and I know Coach Hype won't let them get to that situation, and he'll remind them about the Ole Miss game, because Ole Miss estimated those guys, and you see what happens to them.
yeah.
Well, if you play down to your opponent level, they always have a chance to stay in the game. So I hope we can go up, 21, 28 points real quick and knock them out the game and make them quit.
Well, I think that that's very possible. We're very close again to putting it together offensively, and this could be that game where we're like, okay, it's go time, and everything just comes together. I kind of hope it comes together slowly. Like against Alabama, I feel like we've seen better offensive line play. I'd like to see the line play a little bit better this week, and then the wide receivers come along with it in this one, where we start hitting some of those deep balls, and then next week it kind of looks a little bit better. Then everything comes together for us in Athens. That would be ideal for me, because here's the thing: from here on out, anybody not named Georgia that beats us is going to knock us out of the playoffs. We can't afford a loss to anybody but Georgia.
I mean, we can't. I already told you we can't even afford the loss to Georgia.
Right. No, I agree with you on that.
And the reason why I say that, and it's the exact reason that you said we can't lose to anybody after Georgia, because our strength of schedule after Georgia, it is very low, unless Vanderbilt continue doing what they're doing, and we got a little bit of leeway with them, but
yeah,
Georgia is the ultimate playoff bid for us.
Sure. Well, and you look at the SEC standings right now. It's Texas A&M shockingly leading the conference. Texas, Georgia, Tennessee. That's your top four right there. All four of those teams. I mean,
the SEC it's going to be tough.
Yes. And all four of those teams have each other left on the schedule.
I actually think we all have 2 losses.
So it's going to be. I could see 2 for sure. Texas A&M. I think like we've kind of talked before. Texas A&M, LSU, they've kind of benefited from having that easier front end of the schedule. Now we're getting down into the meat of it. It's gonna get wild, buddy. It's gonna get wild, and we're still just halfway through the season. I mean, there's so much more that can happen. It's gonna be fun to see what happens. Texas A&M. That's the last game of the year. That could decide one opponent. Georgia, Tennessee. It's just plain and simple. We're kind of in the position we were in 2022. Win and you're in. Just win. No matter how you do it, just win.
And that's the key, man. Just like you said, we just got to win. Care how it happens, whereas 1 point, 100 points is all a win. And that's the part that we're going to have to be satisfied with, because everything is SEC now, except for homecoming. Nothing is going to be given to us. Everybody is going to be after us. I mean, right now, I call us everybody's national championship, because we are the most hyped team right now that no one loves besides.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That is 110% true. Like, count on it. You can count on us being hated by whoever, like the sun coming up tomorrow, because it's happened. Like, as soon as Tennessee's mentioned, no. That's just fine. We like it like that. So they can. It makes it that much sweeter too when you do it.
Well, we control on
Tennessee orange.
We just gotta get this offense rolling, man. We gotta. And I said I was gonna go to practice this week. I just couldn't do it, man. I'm gonna let them continue to do what they do. I'm not gonna be a distraction and try anything new. They need to fix what they got right now. They don't need any outside give them pointers now. They need to be themselves, go out there and fight like I know they can, and just win.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think at this point we know what the team's identity is, so to speak. They want to run the ball. They want to cram it down your throat. They want to play, smash mouth football. It kind of ties in. I was looking actually since, over the last couple of games, time of possession is not as big of a thing as it used to be. On the season, Tennessee averages 29 minutes and 10 seconds. That's almost half the game. Giving up 30 minutes and 49 seconds in time of possession. So what that's telling me is we know what we've got. We know what our strong suits are, and they're being played to. It's not. I think we've learned from that Arkansas game. That Arkansas game very well could have been a blessing in disguise, so to speak. Because I mean, they laid the blueprint for everybody else to beat us at that game. I feel like with that defense and not necessarily the defense though. I've said it before. I think they had the perfect offensive game plan to beat us. They didn't throw it all over the field. They didn't do nothing sexy, nothing spectacular, but they were getting 3.5 yards a carry and eating time. If we're on the sideline and we've got maybe second half, fourth quarter at least, you've probably got max two possessions if they're eating clock at that pace. And they made us have to make the most of it. And I think we're going to run into that the rest of the way. That's what people are going to try to do. Kentucky, that's what they'll try to do because they couldn't hit the broadside of a snow-covered barn throwing the ball. But
yeah, they got some work to do. But I truly think our defense is going to control this game. I think tempo that Kentucky offense is going to see is this game where it appears he steps up and with 3-4 sack game. He's due to have a really big game. One big game.
This could be one of those games for him.
I just need my guy to be that consistent quarterback press. Even if you don't get the sack, I want to see a little bit more pressure. And that's from everybody up front. I mean, we've done a great job so far. It's just we're still on the field too long as a defense.
Sure. No, I agree with that, especially against Alabama. It seemed like here's my thing though. I do want to say this. It seems like the penalties is what keeps us on the field.
Yeah.
It keeps us on the field on defense, and they're boneheaded penalties, man. Just boneheaded. You're like, what the hell are you doing? Why would you do that type of thing? And it's on both sides too. Like, the false starts are going to happen. It doesn't matter, period. I mean, they're going to happen. They happen to everybody. But, the personal fouls and the stuff after the play sometimes. Like, now, don't get me wrong. If I'm on a lineman, even though they're boneheaded plays, I like that mean streak in a lineman. Let him hit after the play. Get a cheap one, But don't kill a drive because of it.
Thing about those type of penalties, though, man, like you got to be smart and know when to. It's almost like a poker hand. You got to know when to fold.
Yeah. Kenny Rogers.
I can see if we up 35-10 or something like that, and the other team is talking noise or whatever, and they take a cheap shot at me. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm going to give them what I call the Reggie White syndrome, the kiss. Keep it simple, stupid, and I'm going to tell them this here. Jesus coming.
You're going to meet your maker, boy.
And eventually I'm going to bless you.
Yes. Eventually you're going to be blessed.
Yeah, it's
highly
just
blessed.
Game with the offensive lineman. I love nasty offensive linemen, man. Some of my teammates today, like Jarvis Rito, he was one of those big guys that was he was probably the first offensive lineman I ever seen that was like 6'7", 320 pounds and had a six-pack. I'm like, just don't look. That's just weird. But he was one of those nasty guys, though, man, where he was just huge, man. I'd never seen guys that big. And the nastiness is what we're missing. I don't
Yeah.
want to one time per year where we see these guys do the blindside thing.
Yeah.
We saw
Right.
it last year, one time. This year we saw it one time. I still haven't seen my O-line be nasty, push him in the face or do something.
Yeah. Yeah. Just do
Heck,
something.
quarterback.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you there. I want to see it too. I just get pissed off. Let them piss. Just like the other teams, just looking at them just piss you off. Like, just get pissed off and do it. Just do it. Like Nike. So, all that being said, let's talk a little bit more about this Kentucky team. We've talked about it before. They failed to score more than 20 in conference play. They averaged 19.1 points per game. They give up 19.9. That's why they're 3-5. Plain and simple. You give up, I mean, obviously, you give up more than what you score, then you're going to lose. But that tells me, though, they've been in some close games. I mean, not scoring 19 and giving up 19, right at 20. I mean, you've been in some close games. That's that Georgia game was one. That Georgia game's one that I think swung their season to the point where they're at right now, to be honest with you. They pull that one off. We're talking about different, maybe a 5-3, 6-2 type Kentucky team. Don't matter though. They're coming to Neyland. We're going to spank. So rushing wise, they get right at 142 a game, 3.8 yards per carry, 9 rushing touchdowns on the year. So that could give us fits if we don't come to play, kind of like you were saying on the defensive line. 132 per game is what they give up on defense, and they give up 3.9 yards per carry. So that being said, Tennessee averages 5.8 per carry. I see a lot of ground and pound in our future Saturday night. They've given up 11 rushing touchdowns on the season, scored 9, give up 166 passing, 6.5, they get 166 passing per game, 6.5 yards per attempt, 12.3 per completion. So when they finally do hit a pass, they're getting a first down just about every time they hit it. They're getting a few yak yardage too. 6 passing touchdowns. They've scored 6 passing touchdowns. They've given up 6 passing as well. They give up 178 passing per game, 8.7 yards per attempt, 13.2 per completion. I like to see Nico, have himself a game Saturday. He's due. I want to see it.
He's due, man, because I guess, and I told you, I'm going to be tough on my quarterback this year.
Sure.
I'm normally never tough on any of the quarterbacks because I know what their jobs are. It's already hard enough. But if you look at Nico's stats and you look at Kentucky's quarterback stats, you're talking about identical stats in a sense. And that don't strike with me.
Well, no, man. I looked at it earlier. Kentucky's thrown, I want to say, 9 interceptions on the season. That's what Nico's thrown.
Yep.
He's thrown 9. 10 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. That's
not good, man.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here though and say that's freshman numbers. But Nico, it was not hyped up to be just a freshman. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not riding the kid. He's winning ball games. He's done.
He's not winning ball games. That defense ball games. Defense is winning ball games.
Fact.
Sampson is carrying that offense. Nico ain't did
facts
nothing.
Though, man. I'm not.
Nico needs to be on flames like my boy was last year. I just need him on the hot seat. And the thing is, I'm just saying it because I know how good this man is, man. I know his talent and the offense is for him. And that's what I guess I get upset because no one is giving it to him like they gave it to the quarterbacks last year.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Everybody that is not the quarterback, guys. This guy, he only can do so much. If this guy's not helping him, he can't help himself if everybody else is not doing it. And And I'm still not as hard as I should be on them, but I know, I guess you got to know X's and O's. You got to know football. You got to understand what it takes to create the recipe on the field to make it
Right.
taste.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that, like 100%. Like, and to your point, it's not just him. It's not like wide receivers not getting off the line of scrimmage quick enough. That's a lot of it. I think that's a lot of it. And we've talked about it several times. I think we have overrated our wide receiver core. We thought they were just going to be dynamite this year. And you see those flashes, but they're not getting off the line of scrimmage. And that's why those deep shots that we're missing by, a couple feet now instead of, 10, 15 yards last year are not being hit. That's what it is. Joe, I love Joe though, man. I can't say a bad word about him. Him and his people are good people. Cannot say a bad word about them on or off the field, honestly. Can't. Won't do it either. So here is something that's interesting too. Kentucky is 12 for 22 red zone touchdowns, 18 for 22 scoring in the red zone period. So that tells me they're okay if you get them down there. But that's not good. You want that to be more 18 to 22 touchdowns and having to settle for 4 field goals. You know what I mean?
Yes. And I would be honest with you, we've been in that situation all year long where our offense have put us in some bad situations and our defense had to stop their opponents from scoring. And that's a lot of the things that has happened with our defense that makes them so much better than a whole lot of defenses out there. They're not letting people score in the red zone. I would love to hear the stats on that. I haven't even checked it out. How's our red zone defense?
Red zone defense, 15 for 23. Okay, eight of those are touchdowns.
Yes,
I'll take it all day long. All day long.
And majority of those are
like
bad. We're within bad situations, so I'll take that all day too. I'm with you there.
Yeah, I mean they're stout, man. They're just stingy. It doesn't matter. They just find a damn way. That's all they do. They just find a way. It don't have to be sexy. It don't have to be pretty. They just find a way.
And you said it perfect.
That's where there's a will, there's a way.
Yes. And the thing is, it's not just one player that's
that defense has got it too, buddy. Now,
everybody playing together.
Yes. So we've kind of touched on them. Let's touch on our own defense here. Okay. 11.5 points per game is what we're giving up. The one game we've lost, we only gave up 19 points in. I'm not going to complain about it. I'm not in the least damn bit. Because you give up 19, your defense has done the job. We give up 79 yards rushing per game, 2.2 attempts, 2.2 yards per attempt. Ridiculous.
Wow.
Stifling. Only 4 rushing touchdowns on the season. Through 8 games. That's just, it's crazy. 180 yards passing per game, 4 TDs, 6.21 yards per attempt. So, hey, you can't beat those numbers hardly. You cannot.
Wow.
On a total though, 15 for 23 in the red zone. We've talked about it though. You're giving up 8 touchdowns and 7 field goals out of 23 trips, whereas Kentucky, period, has seen the red zone 22 times this year, like across 7 games. We're letting people in there 23 times all year. In other words, you're getting 1.5 trips a game, and you're not getting anything out of it, really. So here's one stat though that I think is crazy too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know many schools that wouldn't. I mean, you can't do nothing with it. Here's one stat though: 15 sacks on the season for the defense. I think we thought maybe we'd probably be about 20 or so.
Right
15
about
sacks, though, still pretty damn good. 101 yards lost on those. So roughly 6 and some change per sack. And I think that's where we're turning games right there. We seem to get that timely sack and 15. I mean, we're getting a sack and a half a game, basically. We're at 8. It's you take them where you can get them. And I think we're making our hay on those tackles for a loss too. I didn't jot that number down, but we're getting there with the tackles for a loss. Like I think I did see the yardage. I think it's over 230 on tackles for a loss. I didn't see the number, but I mean, it seems like when we get those, it's from being disciplined, and it's on those trick plays or whatever where they're trying to go, get cute, and we just get them, for 8-10 yards. Like, don't try to fool us, that old saying, don't bullshit a bullshitter,
Yeah.
So talk about our offense here. 39.5 a game. You score that many, you average that, you're not getting beat many games. I mean, period. 1.6 rushing yards per game, 5.3 per carry. Disgusting. Disgusting. 22 rushing touchdowns on the season. D. Samp's got 19 of them. He's 2 away from tying the school record.
Yes.
I bet.
And that's huge compared to the guys that's done been through here. And for him to be where he's at right now, brother, wow, especially when we thought we was going to have an air attack that was going to destroy everything. But I knew he wasn't. I said that, because hyper offense is run first. And I hope everybody understand and finally believe me when I say it is run first.
Well, it took me a little while to buy into that, and I'll tell you why. Because that first season, we were putting up points, and we were seeing all the highlights of the deep ball. Same thing in 2022. We were seeing the highlights of the deep ball. Man, no, this will tell you how balanced of a play caller the man is. 232 passing per game this year. That's what we're averaging. And it seems like that 232 is pedestrian. Like that's the way it seems, because we don't make it look like we're used to see it, because we're not throwing 75-yard bombs every play, scoring and this, that, and the other. We're just, and that's fine with me. I would rather watch this offense work on the ground, because that's the best kind of offense to watch to me. And it sets every one of those deep balls up every time. And you can see, like, when they show him on the sideline, you see the wheels turning. How am I going to get this, here? It's just, it's fun to watch. We get 232 passing a game, 8.29 yards per attempt. We kind of touched on it a minute ago. 10 passing touchdowns, 9 interceptions. This is what's interesting to me as well. 34 trips to the red zone. We've scored on 30 of them. 22 of those are touchdowns.
That's a big improvement there. Like, I like touchdowns over threes. My coach used to always say, we don't need no All-American kickers.
There you go. That's it. And we kind of touched on it earlier too. Time of possession, because that seems like that's something that we always bring up every week. It's shifted quite a bit. It was about 36-24 in favor of the opponent. Now it's almost split right down the middle. So you're watching these games, and it seems like, we're not putting up, we're not putting up a ton of points. Tennessee hasn't scored more than 24 in conference play this year. So, but they're still winning games. It shows me that the plays that we're getting are still explosive. They're just not scoring plays. And Hyatt knows how to control the pace. And when you've got a dominant defense and a dominant running game, you can do that. And that's what we've got. We see it every week, just about it. And I think we're going to see a lot more of it this week. because I don't think Kentucky's going to hang with us. So they're going to be asking when basketball season starts after Saturday night. Wait for basketball. We'll beat them then, too. It don't matter.
I hope so, man, because I think this is probably going to be, I hope this is our last late game because I'm tired of the late games, man. I love it for the how would I say this? The ventures on campus that people are selling before the game, and it helps out with revenue for that situations. But man, late games are hard on the body, man.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I do got to touch bad news though. It sounds like that Mississippi State game is going to be a 7:00 game. That's what they're leaning towards. But here may be the silver lining. Georgia may be 3:30. Maybe 3:30. Being away, I could see it being a 3:30 game.
Well, I have a feeling about that one. Because if we win handily and beat them pretty bad, I wouldn't doubt if ESPN would be at the game, like that would
Ooh,
game
yeah.
be in there. So it would probably end up being another late game, man.
Well,
that'll be the time game.
That's what. Okay, so this is week 8 of the college football season, right?
Hmm?
Week 9. Week 8. No, hold on. Let's see here. Let's see what games are on that week.
It would be next week, right?
No, next week we got Mississippi State next week.
That's right. I don't know why I keep thinking we got it. And hold on, Mississippi State, they're home too, aren't we?
Yeah, the next 2 games are at home. Let me just pull up. I don't know why I did that. I went and I was like, let me Google it. And just pull up the app. That's going to be week 12. And LSU, Florida, Missouri, South Carolina.
That's game days.
Texas, Arkansas. Dude, there's no questions asked. That's just the SEC schedule. Let's look at top 25.
Nope, that's
week.
Game day would be in Athens.
Yeah, guaranteed. Yeah, because that's one of those weekends where you're going to see some upsets. But that's the marquee game. As long as both teams do their job. Hello 8:00 on ABC. I think that's what it'll be.
See, because Georgia, but Georgia do have Ole Miss. They have to go to Ole Miss.
They get them the week before us, right?
Yeah.
Right before us. Yeah. Okay. I'm telling you, man, it's going to get wild over the next 3-4 weeks. And I want to say either this week or next week, one of the two, the initial playoff rankings come out. So we'll see. It's going to get interesting. I almost wonder too, I'm not complaining about how Tennessee wins, how much they win by, whatever, but I almost wonder if hype's kind of not like, let's just win these games early, get them out of the way, and let's really show what we got whenever it starts getting down to the nitty gritty and start hanging 50 and 60 again. You never do know. I mean, because the plays are there. They're there. I mean, I don't feel like that's too far out of the realm of possibility, but I also feel like I'm inside my own head with that kind of conspiracy theory. Like, is he really not trying to score as much as he can? Like sandbagging almost. But I'm not worried about it one way or the other. We're winning.
I think our next game that we probably put up 50 points will be next weekend against Mississippi State. They're probably
next weekend is a good kind of. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Georgia, man, here's something else too. Georgia struggled with them. Only beat them by 10.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, teams typically play the top-ranked teams so much harder. These coaches they're bringing out all the best plays, all the best defensive schemes, and I'm like, why you don't do that against everybody? Like,
right. Like, the idea is to win.
They would come out banging. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mississippi State run a kickoff return back with a touchdown. Like, that's
something crazy. Just
stuff like that happens with teams like that. But we just got to take care of business, though, man. We got to.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Well, buddy, before we close her out here, got a couple things here. You want to run through some pick'ems right quick because we got a few decent games this weekend. First up, Ohio State favored by 3.5 at Penn State, noon game. Who you got?
Ooh,
That's
my
tough.
good gosh. And let's see. And it's at Penn State. I'm gonna probably ride with
Yes,
Penn
sir.
State on the spread there, but because Ohio State is not as good as everybody think they are. It's just the schedule that they're playing. They get by, but this is probably going to be the
Sure.
next true test. And I wouldn't doubt if Penn State wouldn't win this game.
Here's my thing on a 3.5 point spread. If I'm gonna take the 3.5, I think I just put it on the money line. Because they got to be in plus money. I didn't look at that, but I wouldn't think it would be too out of the question there. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna ride with you on that though. I'll take Penn State in that 3.5. I'll pick them outright, honestly, because Penn State's defense is just as good as Oregon's. I feel like, and Ohio State didn't do a whole lot against them, so that's going to be a good game. That's going to be a damn good game. Here's one though: Duke at Miami, 21.5 point spread. Miami is favored, noon game. Which way you rolling on that?
But 21 points, wow. I mean, Duke is not that bad, man. Duke has a pretty disciplined team that I don't see them getting beat by 21, man. I think if Duke contain the quarterback, get in his head, I think he can make some mistakes. And I mean, because that's the key to that team right now is the quarterback. He's doing a great job, man. He's doing the Mahomes thing that when Mahomes first got out there, like,
Dude, that kid's good.
Gosh, he's amazing, man. He's amazing, but I don't think they're 21
Yes,
points.
Cam Ward is legit.
So for the point, I take Duke. Miami should win,
I would take Duke. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Duke. I've watched quite a bit of Duke this year. Duke's probably, in a weird way, my second team that I'm like, okay, I'm going to pay attention to them. I've got my own reasons for it, but I don't see Miami blowing them out. They've not been blown out by anybody this year. SMU beat them 28-27 last week, and SMU's not a bad football team. Next one up, Vandy travels down to Jordan-Hare. Auburn a 7-point favorite.
Yeah, Auburn is favored by 7 points. I'm going to take Auburn with the points.
I think I'm jumping on Vandy.
I just
think I'm going to take Vandy, man.
Well, I guess it's not a game for them to get up for, so I don't think they'll be as excited to play an Auburn team. Auburn has to make a name for himself. Freeze is not going to keep losing games or anything like that. He's going to have to bring out the playbook, and he got to win Vandy, man. I truly think that this will be the game where they beat Vandy by 21.
Right? Yeah, you make a good point there. And here is another thing. They beat the same team we have to play this Saturday, 24-10 last week, and Kentucky scored 10 points in the first quarter. Didn't score again on them. We'll see. I would tend. I don't know. Vandy, they don't win much, and they like doing it now because they think they should. I would take the points. It wouldn't surprise me if Auburn doesn't win and absolutely blow them out. But I think I'm going to take the 7, but Auburn to win.
Yeah, and the reason I say that, man, because
we got,
for instance, Vandy is the hotter team right there. They're doing so much right now, and we know they're. I'm not gonna say they're great. I'll say they're an average team that's doing a good job what they have to work with.
Sure.
And Vegas don't just give out money easy like that. They put 7 points on that and a touchdown, and anybody that's unbranded has yet to do that to Vandy. On the teams that has scored anything like that has been a brand name team. So I think
that's true.
Trap up for the world to take Vandy with the points. So I'm going to take Auburn. I'm going to tease it up to -14.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna, if you're gonna give me 14, I'm taking Vandy. I don't know. I want to go with you on it. You almost talked me into it. I want to do it. You're probably right, to be honest with you, because my luck just sucks. But you're probably right. The next one up, world's largest cocktail party, Georgia, Florida, 16.5-point spread, 3:30 kickoff. I think I'm going to take Georgia to cover that one. 17, I'm going to take it.
Is this
Florida's
team,
playing better ball.
is it a neutral site now? Is this when they're playing in Jacksonville?
Yes, sir.
That's a big difference there. So you're probably going to have a mixed crowd. It's probably going to be a good game. I mean, because Florida can't continue to be bad, man. They can't continue to lose those recruits like that. And that would be a good game to earn some recruits. So I'm probably gonna. This is an SEC game, man, and Florida has the athletes to compete, and I know that D line will be able to slow the run down. I'm gonna take the points with Florida.
Okay. All right. It's one of those. I think Florida is better than 16.5. I think they're playing better ball right now. I just feel like, and I would love for this to be the game where Florida's like, hell yeah, we're going to get it together. We're going to go out here and win. Like, I would love to see Georgia lose another game. Flat out would love to see it. Crazier things have happened in that game. You never do know. But I feel like this is, if Kirby Smart's one thing, keeping them kids locked in and ready to play is the one thing that man knows how to do. I think they cover that one. I think they cover it fairly, but I think they cover. So we're split on that one. This next one up, though, tough one. Texas A&M travels to South Carolina, 7:30 kickoff. Texas A&M is a 2.5-point favorite.
Wow, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and jump this one. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm taking South Carolina outright.
I think I'm about to ride with you there because now, if A&M plays the backup quarterback, I think they will be able to control the game with the possession of time, and they'll blast them out. And that's the only reason they beat LSU. They brought in a real quarterback, not a guy that's scrambling everything like. And that's what I had a teammate brought up a valid point about scrambling quarterbacks when it comes to playing football. He's like, he told me, he said, watch and see how Pittsburgh's season turns around when Russell Wilson gets up under the center and you see a true quarterback again in that system. And look what's happening. Pittsburgh looks like a whole different team now.
Yeah, they put it on the Giants last night. Yeah.
Even who else was it? He told me that what's that quarterback? The Colts. The backup quarterback.
Anthony Richardson. And Joe Flacco, yeah.
Flacco, he's up under the center. These are quarterbacks that are playing that position. And I think South Carolina can win this game outright. I mean, especially being in South Carolina, because they got to turn it around too. I mean, this is the time of the year where their season do turn around. So I think I'm going to go with you, and I'm going to take the money line with South Carolina.
That one's, I mean, I watched that LSU game too, and I don't think LSU knew how to adjust to that quarterback. I cannot stand Shane Beamer. He's got one of the most punchable faces in the country. But he's smart playing on defense. He knows how to adjust, and he's very smart, even without Connor Stallions, because we all know part of that. That's the only reason they beat us in 2022. I don't care. I'm saying it. But he's very smart. He's good at making halftime adjustments. He'll figure out a way to slow that quarterback run down. It's consensus here on Volling Out. We're going at South Carolina on the money line. Here's another one, kind of out of the realm of where we're at here, and then we'll get to the Vols game. Pittsburgh travels to Southern Methodist U. SMU is a 7.5-point favorite. And Pittsburgh's not a terrible team. That is a ranked Pittsburgh team.
That should be a pretty good game, man. You're talking about, this is a conference game. So, I mean, both teams are undefeated in the conference, I think. And, I think SMU is the only one that's lost a game. Pittsburgh is a very team, man. I think, what's the quarterback name? It's like Holstein or something like that. He's doing pretty good, guys.
Yeah.
And then, God, what was the other kid? They have a running back that's doing pretty good. SMU, he's doing pretty good. Now, SMU has always been crappy, man, but this is a home game from SMU, and I'm going to take SMU to win by 2 touchdowns.
Hey, they're talented. They're talented. I'm gonna ride with you on taking SMU to win. Give me the 7.5 for Pitt though, and the over. Both those teams can score.
Yes, and that's why I take SMU, man. That offense is so explosive, man. It's like they score so quick, and it just makes me mad at my team, man. When I see these offenses, I know we can do, and we playing putt-putt on our offense, and gosh, I just want that and that's what the fans just want here in Tennessee. So, but I'm not gonna. We'll get there in a second. So SMU blowout.
You might be. You're probably gonna end up being right on that one because anytime I put some strong faith behind an underdog, they end up shitting the bed. So next up, though, last game on the list here, we got the Wildcats coming to Neyland Saturday night. Dark mode, Vols 16.5-point spread. Over under is right at 45.5 right now. Which way you going and why?
I mean, I'm gonna take the Vols to win by at least 21, man. I just don't see them allowing this Kentucky team to come in and just rattle us. It's time for us to get in a situation where we got to earn some respect and let everybody know when they come to Neyland, it won't be easy. So I'm taking the Vols to win. I'm gonna say
I'm with you.
38-13.
Okay. All right. I am gonna agree with you that we cover the spread. I'm gonna get ballsy right here though. Vols winning a shutout. 35-0.
Hey, if they do that, dark mode would be in effect, man. Oh man, come on. We haven't had a shutout, and I can't tell you how long. But defense, man, that would be, gosh, we might lose our coach then, man.
I'll tell you what, I don't know that Minnie's gonna be leaving just because. Actually, me and my dad were talking about this today. When everybody wants your coaches, that's obviously a good thing, but I think we've got the backing behind it now to where it's going to be hard to get one of them, and we're going to make it hard for one of them to leave if somebody comes calling that for one of the really, really uber important guys. So let them come calling. I think we're good. I think we're going to be good on that front. But buddy, I wanted to bring this up too before we closed out. I know earlier in the week I seen a few of your teammates and stuff, and you post about one of your good buddies there that passed away this week, and wanted to offer up my condolences to you. And if you got anything you'd like to say about him, you're more than welcome to. The floor is yours.
Brother, he's Alonzo. He'd be well missed, man. One of the greatest local boxers here. Very kind heart, man. I mean, every weekend at the tailgates, he was always there. He was always smiling, man. He always liked to have fun. And, when I saw that message on Facebook when Juice posted it, I mean, I couldn't believe it. I just thought it was just, so we're just talking. But when they said it was Zoe, man, I'm like, Zoe, man, I just talked to Zoe the other day. And when I called him and he said it was true, man, it was just, gosh, man, the impact the man made, man, and just sucks for his kids, man. The fact that they lost him at such a young age, and you're talking about 44 years old, man.
Mm,
Oh,
that's
it's
young, man.
very young, man. I still don't know the exact results, anything, but I don't need to know because the man lived a great life, and if he was in any kind of pain, he's not suffering anymore. He's gonna be missed, man. I miss him, man. Already. This weekend is gonna be totally different without seeing Zoe at the tailgate, man.
Sure, man. I seen that, and I couldn't let it pass without it being brought up. You got if he means something to you guys, he means something to somebody. Period. It needed to be spoken about tonight, and my thoughts and prayers are with you and your teammates and him and everybody involved in the situation, man. But that being said, let's close this one out with a big Go Vols, and we'll be back to recap Kentucky, man.
Yes, sir. Go Vols.
Go Vols.